Hi guys, it's Chad, founder of Easy Pool Academy. Here's a question I get quite a bit, and I really want to give you the details on this because I think this is something that goes through the mind of most pool owners that are using chlorine. At some point, they might think about it, and it's, can I convert my existing above ground pool over from chlorine to salt? Now let me explain this to you. Salt and metal do not mix. They're going to cause problems. So if you have an all metal pool, your entire pool is made out of steel, the answer is no. Well, the truth is, and let me explain a little deeper, you can do what you want. And there's a lot of customers that do. They have an all steel pool, but they put a salt system on it. But it comes at a cost. And the cost is in 3, 4, 5, or 6 years, the salt's going to have destroyed this pool. And that's all going to depend on the quality of the rust protection and whatnot that's on your all steel pool. Me personally, I will not sell a salt system to somebody that has an all steel pool. I personally call it buying a nightmare. You're going to end up deteriorating parts of the pool. It's going to ruin things, and there isn't anything you can do about it. You're just going to have to replace those parts. And when you replace the parts that get damaged, you have to go back to the manufacturer. You know, one question people have a lot is, if these parts get damaged, do you have a universal part I can buy from you and replace it? No. Every pool has its own specs. It's kind of like with cars. You can't just get sometimes a Ford part and put it on a Chevy car. It just doesn't work that way. You have to get the part designed for that car. It's the same thing with swimming pools. You can't just mix and match. You got to get the part from the manufacturer, and that can be a pain. So, number one, if you have an all steel pool, no. If you do, you're going to deteriorate your pool within 3 to 6 years. I wouldn't do it. I consider it buying a nightmare. You're going to destroy your pool. Now, what pools can you put salt on? In the last 5 to 6 years, the above ground business has come up with pools specifically designed for salt. So what they're doing is, instead of using all metal, which has been in the business forever, steel's strong, it's great, it's been working forever. The problem is salt's having the reaction to it. So something that's been in the above ground business for 20 years now is a material called resin. You would basically look at it and it would look like it's a high grade plastic, basically, is what it would look like. So if you have this on your pool, if your top rails or your top seats or the caps that go over your top seats are resin, a plastic-like material, then that's resin. That's what I'm talking about. Now the problem is, there's 3 levels of pools. There's all steel pools. Don't put a salt system on that. There's all resin pools, where everything on this pool is made of resin except for the pool wall. Pool walls are still all steel. And all resin pools are designed for salt. You can put a salt system on a pool that's completely made out of resin. Like I said, except for the wall's still going to be steel. And then they have what they call hybrid pools, which are some resin parts and some steel parts. Let me tell you what I've seen here over the years with salt systems destroying pools. What happens is, you're getting all this vapor coming off the surface of the water. And what's happening is, that constant salted vapor is deteriorating people's pools. It's not messing with the bottom of the pools or the middle of the pools. It's eating away everything at the top of the pool. Your top seats, underneath there, you have a top track that sits on the wall. You have plates that sit on top of your vertical posts that are steel or whatnot, and it's eating away those. And that's what's deteriorating. That's what using salt is killing in your swimming pool. So here's my point. If you have a hybrid pool, that's going to have, a bit of, let's say you have a resin top seat that you could sit on, but underneath that, you have a metal top track. Here's the deal. If you have any metal on this pool, the salt system is going to eat it away. Just let that be known. So if you have an all steel pool, I'd say no, don't convert it to salt. You're buying a nightmare. If you have a hybrid pool that has some resin parts, but underneath has steel parts, keep in mind it's going to deteriorate that as well. I say that's not a good idea. Or you go with an all resin pool, where the top seats are resin, the top tracks are resin, the plates that sit on your vertical posts are resin, your vertical posts themselves are resin, everything's resin except for the steel wall. And those are pools designed for salt, okay? So if you don't have a pool like that, I wouldn't recommend you putting on a salt system. I personally love a salt system. I absolutely love them. But you have to do it the right way, or else they're going to be real aggressive and real nasty to the steel and the metal that's on your swimming pool. So you want to make sure you do it the right way.